Hey, what's going on, everyone? Darkwater here, and welcome back to Planet Coaster 2. This week we are still working on the mini golf course. I think there's going to be one more episode of mini golf course next week, and that'll kind of wrap it up. But today we get holes 7 and 8 built and in place, as well as holes 11, 12, and 13, I believe. Have to go back and check that now that I'm doubting it. Hole 7 is a volcano hole. You have to hit it through the volcano here. End up rolling a pipe through the middle. Wasn't sure if the volcano was a reasonable size, I guess. So use the little stone man there. Um, I contemplated using just the terrain to create the volcano, but I think the rocks work a little bit better. Put the hole slightly off center, so even if you put it straight through, you're still going to have to putt again. Wanted to have some kind of fire effect. Took me a second to find a decent one, and then I contemplated adding more smoke to it, and more smoke was a really bad idea, so ended up just kind of keeping the small flame in there. Because yeah, I put this one in there, and it's like something's on fire. So, but I like the way it turned out. We set it in the ground, get some path around it, and then start to work on the area around hole 8, which is the one that I built in a previous area. It's just a matter of getting it finally into place, and contemplated taking the path straight around, but decided to kind of zigzag it, if you will. I feel I'm starting to become a lot more familiar. I don't know if that's the word I want, but comfortable. Comfortable is the word I want with the pathing. Still has its quirks, but I feel like things feel a little bit better with it. The 2 holes I keep around just because it's easier that way. Have been toying around with the cue on the carousel, and I have an idea on how I want to do it, but I spent a good hour fighting with it, and it never turned out quite how I wanted it. So I will probably go back and fight with it some more. I think it'll work. It's just not cooperating with me. Again, it's one of those pathing things that just takes time to get familiar with. Yeah, couldn't figure out how I wanted to do the entry area to this one. So we get yeah, pathing got a little wonky here, and I don't know why. So we run it again, so this time we get it. Created a shorter piece, and that works much better. This area does connect to the main path area. All the rest of the golf course does not. We're going to probably do a vending machine area kind of right near this one. So right after hole 8. I was trying to get it to be hole 9, but I think hole 8 might be the way to go. And yeah, pathing did weird things here, and I don't know why. So did leave that. I think I put a bush over it at some point. We just take the path out there because I realized I don't know how much space we're gonna need for the rest of the holes. So after these two holes, we throw some plants, kind of fill in the space a little bit, overgrow it a little bit, which I think works given the theming, I guess, as kind of oceanic, beachy kind of feel to it. Um, but end up after hole 7 and 8 that we now have in place, end up going through and running through holes 13, 14, 12, 13, 14. I might have that misnumbered now that I'm now that I'm thinking about it. Wanted to do some big rocks in the middle just so there's a little bit more variation and a little height. And then holes, I think 11 and 12 are set on a higher plane. So here we jump to the end of the other holes that we did last time. And so this one, it's a straightforward shot. However, there are some obstacles in the way. I've got some rocks in here, and then if you hit one of the rocks, the open area there on the foreground slants down a little bit. So you got a little bit of a path that you're going to have to figure out how to navigate back vertical and get it back onto the main track. But there's still obstacles in the way. I've played a hole similar to this that was never one of my my better holes. My wife and I actually enjoy going to some of the small mini golf places near us, and actually I think we're going tomorrow, in fact. So I will let you know how things go. But I do some rocks in here, just kind of scatter them around the central area. I do put some along the wall, so you can't just go up the side wall there, and it's angled as such that it'll roll down on you. But then this last rock is angled kind of a 45 degrees, so if you get down there and you hit it right, you should be able to knock it up along the way. And so we get this one in place. Do a little bit of terrain to elevate the backside, I think, or do I? No, I just do sidewalks. Yeah, that connection there also did not want to play nicely with the rest of the space. But I'm hoping that we're going to be able to yeah, a big cut there because I was fight with pathing for a while. I'm hoping that in the next episode we're going to be able to wrap up the mini golf course and start on the area between the mini golf course and the carousel and the theme park itself. I'm probably going to stick with kind of a still oceanic, beachy resort kind of feel to it. I don't think I'm going to jump too much out of the norm. I know we've got the Norse theming, the Atlantis theming, as well as Western theming coming soon. That, I think, drops in between this episode and the next one. So, Western themology will be around soon. So, this is the next hole, or the previous hole, depending on how you want to call it. took me a minute to get the shark head to oscillate how I wanted it to. So cut that part because it was a lot of fighting with the animatronics. But it's not a straight shot. You kind of have to bank it around and avoid the teeth that are on the ground. I had it the whole area like this, but then I didn't like the way it looked right here. So end up taking out that rounded corner piece and just doing a straight line, which I think works a little bit better. And then I was trying to figure out what kind of scenery to put around it because I did also want to bury the oscillating mechanics a little bit. But we take the shark's teeth and the two rocks and surround the hole with it. I initially decided to put a couple of. I was gonna do some small trees in here, but it didn't really feel right. And we end up changing it with some coral. Actually, I figured since we're doing a shark, maybe we should have some coral and some undersea stuff. So yeah, I tried a couple different plants and nothing felt right in those. I thought having it really empty just wouldn't fit. I wanted a little bit more challenge. So here, just kind of mounting the oscillating arm that would be there. Honestly, I don't know what would happen if you got your ball just past the teeth. It clears the person, but I don't think I would want to be the person to try and be putting from underneath a moving jaw. But hey, it's fine. So here, just using some of the coaster parts to mount the oscillating arm, and then I considered doing a shack to house the mechanics on the middle section there, but really it never really took to how I wanted it to actually look. And that's what kind of gave me the idea to do kind of an underwater seascape rather than just a little shack, if you will. The shark still does kind of cut through the bottom portion, as you'll see in a minute once we get the seascape going. Pathing on this was a little bit of a struggle because I didn't quite know where people would necessarily want to walk. Because obviously, you're not going to go back by the mechanics of the shark. But are you really going to want to putt from the front of the shark head right there where we're working, or what? Uh, I do small fence, if I recall, around it to kind of keep things in check, particularly the people. Yeah, the right side there just did not want to curve for me. I don't know if it's a me issue or if it's a Planet Coaster issue. Probably a combination of the two. But then do a kind of a little walled area around it to just kind of box things in. So it sits okay. It still kind of smacks into it, but it's one of those things that we'll just have to accept. Still fighting with that corner. Yeah, I built that and I'm all, I don't know what I want to put here. So I tried plants, and that's whenever I kind of came up with the idea of maybe doing like a seascape once I was looking at the coral and whatnot. So end up using the plaster flooring to kind of create a little bit of a roof on it. And then I end up making it a little bit darker because I think the darker color works a little better. Yeah, it hits it, but there's only so much you could do. I also didn't realize until I was just kind of wrapping up things that a lot of the underwater plant elements are illuminated at night. So we just kind of put some plants around there. We take out the planters, and then I thought I put coral in there, but changed the flooring to blue. This one and one of the other holes that we do here in a little bit are the only ones that are blue. All the rest stick with the green. But that's one of the things that's nice with the planters using them as mini golf is you can recolor them either individually or multiple colors on a single course. I suppose you could just use the sidewalk underneath the golf course, and people would just walk across it and give it a little bit more life, I suppose. So the next hole we work on is this one. I end up moving that, and so rather than recording all of it being put in place, we end up taking the whole thing and putting it before the hole that we're building now, because this is also going to be a bluish color, kind of an undersea. Because I saw the wave pieces that we put on the side eventually, and I thought, you know what, having kind of a wave theme would also really work here. So you basically start at a little bit higher level. The axes never lined up whenever I was building this hole, which was such a pain. But you start up at a higher level, and then you kind of go down the two little ramps of waves, and hope that you don't overshoot. After I built this, I found some other pieces that might have worked a little better, but I still like how this turned out. It's one of those holes that if you leave it short, you're going to be kind of in one of those valleys, and if you hit it too long, then you're going to be in some serious trouble. So I originally was going to put this before the one with the oscillating surfboards, but then having the blue waves, I feel it would flow more into the underwater shark a little bit better. So I ended up flipping it because this was going to be the hole before the oscillating surfboard one. And so I initially was going to do these two waves on the sides, but then I came across these and I think I like these a lot better. And it's going to keep your ball at least going in the right direction unless you just absolutely launch it. But we get this moved and swapped with the other one, get some sidewalk around both of them, and I think I like how things are kind of rounding out into shape. So we will jump over into Planet Coaster 2 and do a short walk through some of the end holes here and see how things kind of shake out. So I will see you there in just a minute. Ended up rearranging stuff. So that is the future home of hole 10. It's the dilapidated surf shack. And hole 11 will be up here, where we've got the putting across the two surfboards to the hole-in-one area. Otherwise, down the ramp you go to see if you can put it in here. There's the hole-in-one across the way, as we saw before. And then over here, hole 12. Decided to put this one here because I think it flows with the shark. Basically, you go down a series of ramps. Hopefully you don't hit it too hard, otherwise it goes into the corner, and that's probably bad. And then you wander your way around to the other holes that we saw. I do like how the shark turned out. I know it kind of clips through a little bit, but I think it works. I kind of want to put something on the blue block. I just don't quite know what. And then we've got hole 14 with the little slope down. I think it looks pretty good. Feeling a lot better with how the pathing is starting to go. And then we've got all the other the holes that we had before. So we'll kind of pull back a little bit so we can kind of get an overview. There's hole 7 with the volcano, hole 8 around the corner. Hole 9 will be pretty much right here. I'm going to connect it up over here so there's kind of a joint area here. We'll probably drop a couple vending machines in this area just so they have some place to eat. And then probably hole 10 up here and taking you up. Oh, actually, this is hole 10, isn't it? Yeah, that's 11. So this would be 10 going down to hole 9. And so we will wrap that up next week. I have an idea on the cue for the carousel. And that'll kind of wrap up the mini golf course area. And then we will probably start a little bit on the theme park area. I'm kind of thinking like a boardwalky type area over here. Although now that I'm really thinking about it, we do have kind of a wharf idea here. So maybe we do a boardwalk. Maybe we just throw a bunch of water out here, do kind of a big boardwalk area, and have a few flat rides on there. Maybe a small compact coaster or two. But we'll have to, that'll maybe be out here. And then we'll probably do some other flats. And because I really like the idea of kind of a coaster kind of looping around the mini golf course area. But that'll be down the road. I think this is going to be a good place to leave this episode. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate you guys for being here. And I look forward to seeing you guys again in Planet Coaster 2. And as always, I hope you guys have yourselves an amazing day.